everyone. Glad to see everyone here tonight. We're going to go ahead and get the meeting started. It's now called to order. We'll have the invocation by Councilman Oliver, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone would please stand.
Please bow and pray with me, please. Father God, we thank you for this opportunity to come together tonight to conduct the business of our great city, Florence, Alabama. We pray for your guidance tonight in the decisions that we make. We pray for your guidance also in our thoughts and our words that we choose tonight. We pray for your safety for our city employees that may be working in bad weather tomorrow. We pray you keep them safe and sound. Pray for everyone as we leave this place tonight and go back to our homes. And these things in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Light, if you'll call the roll, please.
Be happy to. Councilmember Hendricks.
Here.
Councilmember Griffin. Here. Councilmember Eubanks.
She's out.
Councilmember Edwards.
Here.
Councilmember Oliver.
Here.
Council President Simmons.
Here.
Madam President, we have 5 council members in attendance, and therefore a quorum is present.
Thank you. We have some changes as far as the agenda is concerned. We're adding 2 resolutions, and it will be 12G. It will be a grant for the Alabama Department Environmental Management for grant for recycling fund, and that will be G that we'll be adding. And then we also have an alcohol beverage license for special events with kilo count, and that will be on the regular agenda A. And if we can get the agenda approved as amended.
Make a motion. We approve it.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Oliver, second by Mr. Griffin, all in favor of the motion.
Motion carries.
And to back it up a little bit about Ms. Eubanks, she's out due to family issues on tonight. She did call me earlier to say that she was not able to be here. And at this time, we'll have a message from the mayor.
I want to take just a moment to congratulate the Florence High School men's basketball team for their big win today at Wallace State for the Northwest Regional Championship. This win secures their spot in the state championship Final Four for the first time in our school's history. Congratulations and go Falcons. Now I'd like to ask Coreyville and some students to come up. I have a proclamation, and some teachers. Come on, teachers. We'll take it. After we do this, we'll take it. This is for Career and Technical Education Month. Proclamation. Whereas Alabama's career and technical education programs have become a rigorous and vital part of the total education system, which is committed to providing students with rewarding opportunities to gain valuable academic, career, and life skills, and whereas these career and technical education programs build collaborative connections among education and workforce development that stimulates growth and vitality in Alabama's local, regional, and state economy. And whereas these same programs are successfully partnering with business and industry to ensure students are equipped with the communication and leadership skills required for college and career success. And whereas they are continually providing students with opportunities to gain valuable hands-on experience through apprenticeships, internship programs, and work-based learning. And whereas 2 out of every 3 high school students in Alabama currently participate in career and technical education programs. And whereas Career and Technical Students Organization, the CTSOs, provide a proactive approach to workforce development by infusing leadership development with technical training, with 118,000 Alabama students serving as active members. And whereas Alabama's career and technical education programs are preparing students for a lifetime of success by providing them opportunities to earn industry-recognized credentials, workplace experience, and college credit while still enrolled in high school. Now therefore, I, Mayor Andy Betterton, on behalf of the City of Florence and its citizens, in support of this endeavor, do hereby proclaim the month of February 2025 as Career and Technical Education Month, and encourage local boards of education, schools, business professionals, and community organizations to participate in this celebration through activities that demonstrate the importance of Alabama's career and technical education programs and their positive impact on student achievement. I'd like to call on Dr. Beal to introduce, and once they've had their opportunity, we'll take a picture.
Thank you, Mayor Betterton and the council. We are privileged to be here. We appreciate all of you recognizing what our students are doing. I can look all of you in the eye and tell you that you would be very highly proud of what's taking place in the halls of Florence High School in terms of career development and career mobility and career training. We have a saying in Florence City Schools, Florence High School, we don't want to just graduate students. We want to equip them, and I think Mayor Betterton used that word in the proclamation. We want to equip them for long-term career success. We want capable and competent young people leaving Florence High School and going out and having an impact under the roof where they choose to have a career out. I'm going to choose to believe that all of you here are for us. A nice large crowd tonight. We appreciate that. But very proud of this group. They're winning state, national awards. I can tell you when they go places, people know and they respect our students. They've got the knowledge, they've got the skill sets due to our training of our highly skilled educators. We've just got a wonderful team. You know, when you got great people, things happen. So we've got a great team of individuals. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. But before I do that, I appreciate all of you supporting what we do, all of you, and the future is extremely bright. We've got a saying at the end that career transformation happens here. And thank you very much. Y'all come up and tell them who you are and tell them the programs that you're in.
I'm Cyrus Severs. I am part of the engineering program, and if it wasn't for my very supportive family and the educators at Florence High School and the other schools that I've been to, I would not be where I am today.
Hello, I'm Tomas Paget. I'm a sophomore at Florence High School. I'm a member of the engineering program over there. Recently, we have begun working in Fusion 360, which is the industry standard 3D modeling software, which are skills that are indispensable for continuing a career after high school. And I would like to say that this program has made me decide that I want to continue pursuing engineering after high school. And I just want to say thank you for everyone here for your support, and thank you to my teacher, Ms. Bach, for the initiative given us. Thank you.
Hello, I am Kason Williams. I'm part of the middle school FFA chapter. And without FFA, I would not be in the position that I am now. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Hetty Carter. I'm part of FFA with Florence High School. I just want to say thank y'all for supporting this amazing program.
Hi, my name is Amira Sarah McCoy, and I'm a part of the Florence High School FFA chapter, and I'm a junior. And I'm so thankful to have the opportunity to have joined this organization because it has given me connections to around the world and helped my public speaking skills.
Hi, my name is Destiny Martin, and I'm a part of the business program and FBLA here at Florence High School. I am so thankful to be a part of this program, and I have been able to learn so many things that I would have never thought I would be able to learn before. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shelby Atwood. I'm the middle school agricultural education instructor and FFA advisor. And I'm a prime example of what our programs do because my high school ag teacher is here as well. So I went through the, he can't get rid of me. So I went through Florence High School and it led me to the career I'm in today. And without the program and my advisor's guidance, I would not be where I am now.
I'm Shelly Ballard Thomas, and I am the Business and FBLA Advisor at Florence High School. I'm also a product of the Florence City School System. I graduated from Coffee High School, but had amazing business teachers, which really led me to want to be a business teacher when I graduated. And I spent 22 and a half years in a different system that came to Florence last year. So this has been a great experience. I felt very welcomed and have had wonderful students. As you can see, one of my students was here tonight. And we're doing amazing things with our FBLA program and our business program, and look forward to the support of our city and especially our faculty members that are here with us and our wonderful administrator, Dr. Corey Beal. Thank you for welcoming us and thank you for acknowledging us here.
Matt Ball, I'm the high school ag teacher, and I just want to say it is amazing to see the support of the community. I live in Franklin County, and I've worked in Florence City for 20 years, and it never ceases to amaze me that the people that come out and support, but the ability of our students to come into a meeting and speak to the public, and I believe they're less nervous than I am. But either way, greatly appreciate all of them and appreciate you.
And on a final note, these students did not have the communication skills that you saw tonight before these career tech programs. So let's give them another round of applause. Great job.
Well, I'm certainly delighted to be able to do that this evening. Mr. Ball, tonight, 20 years ago, I'll never forget raising my hand to hire him in the Florence City Schools. You've done a great job. Thank you very much. Now, I'd like to read another proclamation. I don't have anyone here to accept it, but we've done this before, and it's for National Parent Leadership Month. Proclamation. Whereas meaningful parent leadership occurs when parents gain the knowledge and skills necessary to function in meaningful leadership roles and present a parent voice to help shape the direction of their families, programs, and communities. And whereas parent leadership is an essential and effective means of strengthening families and preventing child abuse and neglect. And whereas the Alabama Department of Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Children's Trust Fund of Alabama recognizes the vital importance of partnering with parents and assist public systems and private organizations, policymakers, and other key stakeholders to effectively implement parent leadership strategies. And whereas more parents each year are developing vital partnerships with service providers, policymakers, and key stakeholders to shape policy and practice and build stronger, safer communities for children. And whereas the Alabama Department of Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Children's Trust Fund of Alabama established the state's first Parent Advisory Council to help strengthen and enhance parent leadership in programs and policies that promote the prevention of child abuse and neglect. And whereas the Alabama Department of Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Children's Trust Fund of Alabama continues to promote parent leadership in its programs and policies that benefit families throughout the state, along with supporting public awareness, education, and training within such programs. Whereas National Parent Leadership Month recognizes, honors, and celebrates parents for the vital leadership roles in their homes and communities and in local, state, and national and international arenas. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Andrew Betterton, Mayor of the City of Florence, Alabama, do hereby take great pleasure in proclaiming the month of February 2025 as National Parent Leadership Month in the state of Alabama and recommend this observance to all citizens. Now, I need to read a personal statement. I normally do not make comment or make public remarks about social media. I respect anyone's right to share their opinion, even if it doesn't agree with mine. The First Amendment protects our right to be critical of government and share expressive speech in protest or support of agendas. I'm grateful for this right, and I know you are as well. But let me be frank with you. Much of the tabloid-style speech expressed against me in recent days was directly intended to insult, intimidate, or otherwise harass myself and my family. Good judgment and personal integrity should teach us better. When you choose to attack my family members, I must stand up publicly and say, this is not okay. Shame on the adults who hide in the shadow of their computer screens and look for ways to bully and intimidate. What lesson are we teaching our children when we attack the grandkids of spouses or spouses of our neighbors? What message are we sending to others about our community when we choose to defame someone's character or hurl accusations we never fact-checked? This is not okay. I do appreciate those who took the time to contact me directly to ask if any of the swirling accusations had merit. Those that realize just because you read it on Facebook doesn't mean it's true. Let me personally thank each of you. I also want to commend the department heads of our 24 city departments. They are well-trained and more than capable to lead our departments well. I appreciate their hard work and the assistance and support they provide my office. I'm equally proud of the 1,000+ employees of the City of Florence. Our employees do an amazing job keeping their city running and providing wonderful resources for our citizens to use and enjoy. I'm grateful for their hard work and their diligence. There's not a week that goes by that I'm not reminded of how blessed I am to work with so many talented individuals. Now, in closing, I'd like to offer this statement that I put as a press release on Monday that I'd like to read. The City of Florence has not changed its policies regarding animal services. The recent influx of the 82 animals and the new pups that are part of the Lauderdale County Sheriff's ongoing investigation did not change any of these policies. The animals are all being safely cared for by staff and volunteers. At no time have I asked the director, staff, or volunteers to increase euthanizing the animals in our care. As always, rescuing and rehoming animals is a high priority for our animal services, and we're grateful for the partnerships that we allow to help make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, do we have any reports for any department heads? Any standing committees? Okay, we do have a public hearing, Ms. Bailey.
Good evening. The public hearing tonight concerns an ordinance to approve the rezoning of 2.75 acres located at 1545 Helton Drive from B2 General Business to R3 Multifamily Residential. And this comes at the request of Lines Investments LLC. This property, you know it best as the former Courthouse Racket Club property, although that building has been removed and the property is vacant. This case, as usual, came before the City of Florence Planning Commission, and it was unanimously recommended for the rezoning effort. Are there any questions I could entertain from the council at this time? I recommend that we open the public hearing and open the floor for any comments.
Okay, public hearing is now open. Anyone to my left have any comments for or against? In the middle? To my right? There is none.
Hearing none, I recommend we close the public hearing at this time.
It's
Thank
now
you.
closed. Thank you. Next, we're about to hear business from the floor pertaining to items on the consent and the regular agenda. It will come with a 5-minute time limit. But before we do that, I would like to read the city code of Florence. Section 2-65, communications to the public, from the public, under sections 2-6310 and 2-6314 of this code regarding comments from the public. During council meetings, each speaker may address the council for a period not to exceed 5 minutes. After being recognized by the president of the council, speakers must state their names and address and must be courteous in their language and deportment. Speakers recognized to address the council who are ruled out of order by the president of the council must return to their seats and forfeit their remaining time. And there's various codes on there. Everybody should, or most people should have a copy of this. Also, decorum section 2-66, the decorum, any person making personal, impertinent, slanderous, or profane remarks, or who willingly utters loud, threatening, or abusive language, or engages in any disorderly conduct which would impede, disrupt, or disturb the orderly conduct of any meeting shall be called to order by the president. If such conduct continues, the president, at his or her discretion, may order the person barred from the further audience before the council for that meeting. Section 2-67, addressing the council. No person, not a member of the council, shall be allowed to address the same while in session without permission of the presiding officer. And also, I know people they come up, just ask that everyone please adhere to what has been read for the communications from the public, the City Code of Florence, Alabama. Often people come up and then make their statements, and we appreciate that. That is certainly your right, and we respect that. We do ask that when you ask us questions, I know oftentimes you ask us questions and you look at us and we don't respond back to you, because that is a practice that the council do not have dialogue back from the dais to the person that's speaking. We will speak to you if you want to answer after the council meeting. You can go to whichever one of these 5 council members, 6 if Ms. Eubanks was here, to talk with them personally and get your questions answered. So at this time, we will have business from the floor pertaining to items only on the consent and the regular agenda with a 5-minute time limit. And we will start to my left. Okay. In the middle. Again, this is only items on the consent or the regular agenda.
Thank you, Madam President, and to the council, and our wonderful mayor, and those that are here as citizens of Florence, Alabama. Billy Ray Simpson, 755 West Alabama Street. Amen. I remember that. I'd like to commend Chief Mike Holt on consent agenda E, resolution to approve a contract with Polygraphs. I've never heard that before, but we really need honesty, especially in our police department. They have a valuable job, and one can spoil a whole bunch. So we thank him for this resolution. Now, I can't figure out all that money though, you know, so, but I do approve this resolution to bring honesty into our police department and make sure that we don't, I'm trying to be nice, okay? Make sure we have an honest police department. Somebody say amen? Yeah. No.
Thank you. Anyone else in the middle who'd like to speak on items on the consent of the regular? Okay. If not, to my right.
Hello, my name is David Carson. I live in Florence, Alabama. And I too want to talk about just a brief comment on the consent agenda item E regarding the polygraphs, contracting with the company to provide polygraphs for certain police officers, the new police officers. I would just like to make a recommendation, like a suggestion, that you should maybe, since you've already got getting a contract with this company, you should expand the program and offer their services from the mayor down, the polygraphs. I think the city would serve the city well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Anyone else to my right? If not, Mr. White.
All matters listed within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member of the Florence City Council for reading and study, are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion of the council with no separate discussion. If separate discussion is desired, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda by request.
You already have a motion for approval.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Oliver, second by Mr. Griffin. All in favor of the motion?
5-0.
Regular agenda, please.
Item A under the regular agenda is an ordinance to approve rezoning of 2.75 plus or minus acres located at 1545 Helton Drive from B2 General Business to R3 Multifamily Residential as requested by Lions Investments LLC, sponsored by Melissa Bailey.
Do you already have a motion for immediate consideration?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Griffin, second by Mr. Edwards. All in favor of the motion?
5-0.
Do you already have a motion for the adoption?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Oliver, second by Mr. Hendricks. Any discussion? Not all in favor of the motion.
5-0, motion carries. Item B is an ordinance to vacate a storm drainage easement in favor of Rhonda Covington and Johnny Mitchell Jr., sponsored by Bill Basson.
Do you already have a motion for immediate consideration?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Oliver, second by Mr. Griffin. All in favor of the motion?
5-0.
Do you already have a motion for the adoption?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Griffin, second by Mr. Hendricks. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion?
5-0, motion carries. Item C is an ordinance to vacate a stormwater drainage easement in favor of Ronnie P. Bailey and Teresa D. Bailey, sponsored by Bill Basson.
Do you already have a motion for immediate consideration?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Edwards, second by Mr. Griffin. All in favor of the motion?
5-0.
Do you already have a motion for the adoption?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Edwards, second by Mr. Oliver. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion?
5-0, motion carries. Item D is a resolution to approve a contract with Grayson, Carter, and Sons Contracting Incorporated to provide labor, equipment, materials, and incidentals necessary to construct sidewalks along Bradshaw Drive and share a path along Helton Drive for the City of Florence Engineering Department in the amount of $495,290.07, sponsored by Bill Batson.
Do I hear a motion for immediate consideration?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Oliver, second by Mr. Griffin. All in favor of the motion?
5-0.
Do I hear a motion for the adoption?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Edwards, second by Mr. Griffin. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion?
5-0, motion carries. Item E is a resolution to approve an agreement between the City of Florence and Pipe Suite Professional Services Incorporated to provide professional services in a pipeline compliance package with mailing services for the City of Florence Utilities Gas Department as required by PHMSA and DOT in the amount of $50,900 per year for 3 years to be paid from budgeted funds, account number 928, sponsored by Tad Cole.
Do I hear a motion for immediate consideration?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Griffin, second by Mr. Edwards. All in favor of the motion?
5-0.
Do I hear a motion for the adoption?
Motion.
Second. Motion by Mr. Oliver, second by Katrina. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion?
5-0, motion carries. Item F is a resolution to approve a contract with CDG Incorporated to provide professional engineering services for the development of a new transfer station facility at 4501 Starkey Drive in an amount not to exceed $175,000 to be expensed to account 256-43200, sponsored by David Coombs.
Do I hear a motion for immediate consideration?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Oliver, second by Mr. Griffin. All in favor of the motion?
5-0.
Do I hear a motion for the adoption?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Edwards, second by Mr. Griffin. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion?
5-0, motion carries. All right, G is a resolution authorize the City of Florence to apply to the Alabama Department of Environmental Management for a recycle fund grant, sponsored by David Coombs.
Do you hear a motion for immediate consideration?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Griffin, second by Mr. Hendricks. All in favor of the motion?
5-0.
Do you hear a motion for the adoption?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Oliver, second by Mr. Edwards. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion?
5-0, motion carries. Item H is a resolution alcohol beverage license application for a special event retail on premises wine by Pickett on Court LLC, doing business as Pinot Camp, located at 218 North Court Street, Florence, Alabama 35630, to take place on Sunday, February 23rd, and Monday, February 24th, sponsored by Robert M. Leidy.
Do you hear a motion for immediate consideration?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Hendricks, second by Mr. Oliver. All in favor of the motion?
5-0.
Do you hear a motion for the adoption?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hendricks, second by Mr. Griffin. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion?
5-0, motion carries. That's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you. There is no general business. At this time, now we will have business from the public with a 5-minute time limit, and we will start to my right. In the middle? Somebody come.
Good evening. My name is Brittany Hill, and I live on Woodcastle Drive. I've been a resident here for almost 20 years now. I moved from up north, and I've settled my family here. I've owned a business in this community for 8 years this week. And I want to start off by saying, last April, I got a phone call from my husband that my cat was found paralyzed, laying in its own vomit. So I rushed home, rushed it to the vet. We had to put the cat down. At that time, I said, I'm never owning another animal in my life, ever. I don't want it, which is where fostering steps in. For the last decade and a half, we have fostered dogs from the shelter. When we foster dogs from the shelter, we always go for short-term fostering because I don't live the lifestyle with children and owning a business to have a dog full-term, but we do enjoy the dogs. So I knew that I could foster short-term for cats. So I went to the shelter and I asked for help to find a cat that I could foster for a few weeks. The way this short-term fostering works is these animals are promised to a rescue. The rescue comes down about every 2 weeks. Since last year, I personally have fostered 109 cats from the shelter. 31 of those have gone to the Pajamas Rescue in Wisconsin. That's 28% of my fosters have left. We've even had our own Facebook group called the Mew Mew Crew that shows the fosters that we get from Florence, Lauderdale. I, as a business owner, understand that there are legalities to insurance. I own an elder statesman company. I drive elderly people's callers all the time to their doctors, their hair appointments, to Walmart. I know that it's a challenge. But instead of fighting about what gets used, what doesn't get used, I mean, this process of rescues have been going on for years. And I really think that we are smart enough in this community to come up with a compromise to get these animals to where they need to be. It has been stated that no one has asked the shelter to euthanize animals. But when you no longer allow rescues to come in or for us to take hundreds of dogs and cats, because the rescue up in Wisconsin has taken over 250 cats this year alone from our shelter. When you say that's no longer allowed, you are asking to be euthanized or to have these animals euthanized. And I think the person that is shoving that needle in this animal's vein to kill it should be the person or the group of people that make the decision on where and how these animals leave the shelter. Thank you.
No. Terry Buchanan, 197 Blaze Drive, Florence. First of all, I would like to say I love animals. I've had rescues that are so special to me. I've fostered, and I was even a foster failure as I went on to adopt the dog that I was fostering. And now I have a stray cat that after almost 2 years trusts me enough to sleep at the foot of my bed. So I love animals. And I also want to thank each and every one of you that are here for the voice of these animals, and thank you for trying to find homes for all of them. I'm here tonight to support my friend and our mayor. I'm not really a speaker, but I felt like I needed to step up and speak on behalf of Mayor Betterton. After all that I've read, so many horrible things on social media. What I don't understand is how some of you that wrote on social media can be so kind to all these animals, but you're so cruel to humans. I personally know many of you that posted these comments, and I hoped that you did it out of frustration, and now you regret that you put your name next to those statements. When I see you, it's going to be hard for me to undo in my mind what you said. I did not know that you were capable of such vicious remarks. All of these were based on rumors. You did not like the way that Mayor Betterton handled the situation. Even after he quoted in the paper those things that were untrue, you kept attacking. One that stuck out in my mind that I read was, and I quote, "This is no way acceptable. He will have to go. Who does he think he is?" Unquote. Well, I'm thinking that he is our mayor. And he was just doing his job of overseeing public works departments and executing the laws and ordinances. Now, I'm definitely not a politician, and the closest I've come to politics is just being a poll worker. But I appreciate Mayor Betterton and all of our city council members that love Florence enough to take on such a difficult task. Now, I may not agree with everything that Mayor Betterton says, but I do remember that he is our mayor and leader of our city, and I respect that. There are better ways to handle difficult situations than going on social media and trying to ruin someone's character. Like I said, I'm not a politician, but I was a school teacher for 32 years. I was kind of like the mayor of my classroom. Not only was I there to teach, but also promote an environment where all students could learn. I had rules that were for all students. Imagine if I let one of my students violate those rules without being reprimanded. What statement would that have made to the other students? I just want to thank you, Mayor Betterton, for enforcing the laws for all the city departments, and thank you and the city council for all that you have done and continue to do for our great city. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the middle? Come on.
Hello, my name is Sherry Crossland. I reside in the county of Lauderdale at 3490 Stevenson Road. I'm not nearly as eloquent as the lady from UU Crew, but I'm in favor of anything that saves animals' lives. I don't see why part of my tax dollars, a couple of pennies a year, can't go toward providing a POS van for the animal shelter to be able to take the cats and the dogs to rescue. I prefer, if I'm gonna rescue one, I'll do the cat, because I'm a crazy cat lady. But the dogs are still sweet, and I even feed the possums in my neighborhood. So always err on the side of having a heart. Thank you.
Anyone else in the middle?
Thank you, Madam President, Council, and all of the good people here. Even though I'm not going to speak to them, I'm going to speak. So, I've been coming up here for 20 years. I've seen councilmen comes, councilmen go, mayors come, mayors go. But I've never seen such a caring council and mayor that I'm looking at right now. I know they gonna help me because, you know, but he's not going to quit because people don't like him. Nobody quits because people don't like him. Just keep doing your job. Do the best job you can. And the Lord will vindicate you. You're never gonna find everybody that's gonna be on your side, Mr. Griffin, you're not. But be honest, you're honest. We are honest people here that wanna do the best for our city. That's why people voted for you, because they believed in you. Now, if people got a problem with you, they ought to run for office. You know, and it takes courage to put yourself into a situation where you know you're gonna get shot at. But you keep doing what you know to do, no matter if they want you or not. You're gonna keep being what you are, and you're gonna keep caring for those we have a council that cares about human life and also animal life. And sometimes we need to understand that some people don't like humans to be killed either, euthanized.
I had to clap on that. I love animals too.
Yeah. We don't like nothing to be killed. We don't like people being killed either, or euthanized. You see what I'm saying? And we don't want our animals, our pets. But somebody's got to do more than they're doing other than running off at the mouth. Somebody got to put their money where their mouth is. So our animal shelter that's doing impossible things in taking care of the animals can have some kind of support and not just attacks. So I didn't come to attack you. I come to commend you. You're doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else in the middle? Okay, if not, to my right.
Hello, my name is David Carson, and I live in Florence. Oh well, it's really just gonna just go for it, I guess. Yeah, I gotta jump on this stuff here. This is ridiculous. I'm going to first of all respond to the mayor's his statement about him being like pro, like citizens speaking out and expressing themselves. This is the same mayor that blocks the comments on the Facebook live stream. Like we used to be able to comment on the Facebook live stream, but this mayor stopped that. So right now, everyone that's watching live knows you can't comment. That's because of Mayor Medicton. And I'm not sure who he was referring to when he's talking about hiding. I ain't going nowhere. I don't hide, and I don't block people commenting to me. I can take it. I'm a big boy. I actually stand by with what I say. And if someone has an opposite opinion, I will probably defeat them in debate and not just hide. But that's just me. I am an owner of 3 cats. I have 3 cats. I didn't ask for them. They are street cats that started hanging out in my backyard, and it was either the shelter, them dying outside, or me taking them in. And I don't take animals to the shelter. I just feel like that's a death sentence, basically, especially for cats. People around this area don't really. It's just more of a dog area, But I'm definitely a cat guy. So now I've got 3 cats. At first it was 1, now it's 3. And I take care of them. I love them. And I spoil them. Thing about animals is it's like they can't defend themselves. People can. That's all I gotta say about that. I don't feel bad about engaging people, but I'm not gonna bully animals because I'm a bigger person than that. People, on the other hand, well, they can defend themselves. Any kind of adult can. Some can, I guess. Denying transport out of state for these animals is, like previously said, it equals death, basically, for animals. The animals that are coming in is going to be greater than the ones that are going to be able to adopt out. And this whole state is actually pretty backwards when it comes to animals. There's a lot of people that use dogs as like front yard ornaments and stuff. It's pretty appalling. I think any animal shipped out of state here, the better. And I think we could throw a few pennies in gas to help provide that, considering we provide millions of dollars of no strings attached handouts to UNA. I'd rather a fraction of that go to saving some animals. We got the money. So I'm not sure if the money's the issue, or a power trip. I don't know. I'm not going to assume too much. I can only assume the worst, really. This just doesn't really make any sense. And I'll end on this, how this doesn't make sense. It's not personal, by the way, as far as your guidelines are concerned. I do not go after people. This is all, if you're a public figure, and I'm just talking about how you conduct your job, that is a professional statement. If I say it slightly mean, well, it's still, in my, my opinion, on a professional job. But I don't see the point in this. Like, really, it should be no big deal. Like, some money for gas to ship some animals out of here. Like, I want to say to Andy Betterton, you're not going to be reelected. You're just not. That's not going to happen. That was before all this happened. But now you're encroaching on an area where you're not, this is not a threat, by the way, this is just a fact of life, that you're not, people are not going to like seeing you in public. Like, are you just going total Grinch mode here?
You have 1 minute remaining.
Like, this doesn't make any sense. I know you're going to lose the election, you're probably bitter about that, but don't kill animals, man. Jesus Christ, that's all I got.
I'm Bonnie Wallace. I live in the Cedar Townhome neighborhood of Florence, and I'm appalled, absolutely appalled. I taught at middle school for years, and I kind of feel like I'm in a middle school classroom. I am an animal lover. If you know me, you know that my husband and I have fostered hundreds of senior dogs, hundreds, to go to rescue, and they are adopted. But I don't understand the personal attacks here. I really don't. I love you guys, but come on. It doesn't matter. The point is that animals will die if we don't transport to rescue, period. So we need to figure out how to transport to rescue and do it without insulting people. So now that I've made everybody mad, I'm gonna sit down.
Anyone else? All right.
Take what I just showed you.
I'm Mike White, 4704 Chisholm Road, Florence, Alabama. I like everybody on the council. Y'all are nice people, but I want to vote you all out. 2 years ago, I created a Facebook page called Vote 'Em All Out. It was based on the 2004 campaign that we had, Vote 'Em All Out. None of you were around then, but Reverend Simpson remembers it. And we did, we voted them all out except for Dick Jordan. Bingo, yeah. You gotta grab it by the root. So, but I like all of you, and I hope I've argued with each and every one of you on Facebook, and I am a Facebook warrior. I do get on Facebook quite a bit, it's my hobby. I don't even know you. I'm not a friend of Andy Betterton. I don't know Andy Betterton and don't want to. Right, or his wife either. But anyway, and I wanted to vote you out. Now, of course, you only won by 14 votes. It was real rich that you would get up here and talk about the First Amendment. Because you are, you won't admit it, but that's what is told, is you're the one who blocked comments on the live stream. That's really supporting the First Amendment as an elected official. You do a great job of promoting transparency in the city of Florence. Vote them all out. I say we need to start all over with non-politicians. We desperately need a new mayor, and we need new representation in every district. And we need to put this city in a new direction. We're $100 million in debt. We keep spending money on a $9 million pickleball park. $13 million that was told it was $12 million for a new parking deck. We let one parking deck rot, and then we built a new one. Instead of going ahead and doing the handy center right, they patched around it. And it spent several million on it. They're still working on it. It's going to be a patched around mess. We got a 1950s Broadway Recreation Center, a 1950s Royal Avenue Recreation Center, but we're gonna have a pickleball park. So no, I'm no fan of any of you. I like you personally. I hope I don't get up here and talk too much, because I remember when Ms. Roline went to jail. And I don't know whether anybody over there would bail me out of jail.
I got you.
But anyway, I'm not gonna say anything derogatory about Andy Betterton, because I don't know Andy Betterton personally and don't want to know Andy Betterton, but I don't want you in office. I think you're a terrible excuse for a mayor. And as far as the animals go, I have a rescue. My little Leo, I got him when he was, I think he was about a year old is what they thought. It's funny, got him from a rescue or a shelter in Mississippi. They got him through Pets Are Worth Saving. Britta did, and anyway, he ended up in, he was in a trailer park, they said, and the trailer blew away. And the first time there ever came a bad thunderstorm, Leo jumped in the bathtub. I said, Leo's trained, and he does that to this day, Saturday night. Leo was in that bathtub. He's better than any kind of radar, because I know when a tornado's coming, Leo jumps in the bathtub. He's 13 years old, that's all I needed. I love dogs, and we need to save every one we can, every dog and every cat. And get around all this petty politics stuff, because you're gonna lose an election and you're gonna get thrown out. That's it.
Chapel King. A lot of people say they don't know the mayor, but I do. As a former neighbor for 20 years and my grandfather's best friend, I'm here tonight extremely upset. I have cried. I have spent a lot of time over the past week and a half being upset about this, because I stood up here years ago. I have worked myself to death trying to get changes for this county, this community, for this city, for that shelter. And what happened has totally astonished me. The mayor may not have directly asked the staff and the volunteers to euthanize, but indirectly by stopping transports to rescue. At some point the money will run out from the rentals that we have, the money we've raised for rentals. When no one comes forward with a van, it will happen. The fact of saying that I haven't asked volunteers to euthanize in the media release tells me that he doesn't know much about what even goes on at the shelter. Around 1,000 animals were saved last year at the animal shelter due to transports and rescue. The city policy states that the use of city vehicles has to be used for city business. Tonight, I asked the mayor, where have you been for 15 years that this has been going on? You've been on the city council or been a mayor. Have you not seen the post on Facebook? Attended the budget meetings. We have had many mayors with no issues in the past 15 years. They've all known transports have happened. Mayor Irons, Haddock, Holt. I'm not sure why the shelter director was placed on leave for doing something that has been going on for years. But it doesn't state in the policy anything about rescue and transport. But I do believe that saving the animals is city business, especially the animal service department. What's the real reason for this? Is it me? Is it the problems that I have caused? Have I been too vocal? Is it because of who we support? I just don't know. I'm sorry for anything I have done. We have one of the best animal control departments in the whole state. I get calls every day about this. But this is just plain wrong. The animals don't deserve this. We will find another way to make this work, because I will not stop until this is fixed. But the other city departments need to be held to the same standards. It's not fair that the electricity department or any of these other departments get to go to other places and help. What's the difference? The reason things are so good here is not because the volunteers or the budget, or because we have a wonderful animal shelter. It's because of the director that we have. She has made it being euthanized when there's way bigger issues going on in this city. This is a sad legacy to leave. You may not have changed a written policy, Mayor, but you have changed this whole community.
Anyone else to want to speak?
My name is Monica Williams. I reside at 504 Shaler Drive. She just got me emotional because we are very passionate about saving animals. I just want to review some statistics because of our animal control director, because of the staff, and the community. This past year, Florence Lauderdale Animal Services brought in 5,268 animals. It's an average of 439 animals a month. We had, I know things have been mentioned, we need to adopt locally. We had 2,029 adoptions last year alone. That's an average of 169 animals a month adopted here locally in our community. And then on the other hand, we saved 1,349 animals that, yes, they went to rescue. That's an average of 112 animals that was saved per month in 2024 alone, just by rescues. They were saved. Can we imagine what happens if we don't have the rescue, if we're not allowed to use a city van? I mean, can we imagine? So I'm asking the mayor and everybody else, do y'all expect us to put down an extra 1,400 dogs a year or cats a year just because our greed, we don't want to send them to rescue, or we want to save a little bit on some gas? The shelter has 2 transport vans. Why do we have 2 transport vans if we cannot do transports? Why do we have them? I'm sorry, y'all, I'm emotional as well. I went through, prior to us doing rescue transports, I've done a 10-year period just to kind of look at numbers. Do y'all know what our euthanasia rate was in those 10 years prior to when we started utilizing rescues? And I have all the stats if y'all would like to have those. An average of 320 animals were killed per year. This is over a 10-year period. No, I'm sorry, per month. Per month, 320 animals per month. In a 10-year period, 38,361 animals were killed, were euthanized in 10 years. And do you know what the intake was over that 10-year period before rescues? 46,058. We took in 46,058 animals over a 10-year period, and we killed 38,361. Where is justice in why we cannot utilize transport? We don't need to go backwards. For the past few years, we have been can't even think of the word. We have been nationally considered, our shelter here, as a no-kill animal shelter because we stayed under 10% euthanasia rate. And a lot of that, over the past few years, you know what, is because of Cheryl Jones, our director, that has been fighting with her staff, with the community, has been fighting. So why now are we not allowed after we've been transporting for over 12 years? There's proof in numbers. Another thing, and Mayor mentioned fact checks. Okay, here's a fact check. Per the policy and procedures, supervisors and department heads, they hold their employees accountable, correct? For any policy violations or infractions, all right? Who holds our mayor accountable for any violations? Woo! Great. So per the policy, here's just one example, and I've got many. I'll
You
give
have 1 minute remaining.
Okay. A performance evaluation must be completed on a yearly basis for department heads. Not one, and this is fact checks, not one has been performed since this mayor has been in office. How do you give a department head a performance improvement plan? In over 4 years, she's never even been a performance eval conducted. How do you do it? I just beg and plead with our council, help us save these animals. Please allow us, the 2 transport vans that are there, allow us to utilize that. I promise we can work together. We'll raise funds for the gas if it means that. Allow us to utilize that. Please. Thank y'all.
Good evening. My name is Donna Tate and I live in the city of Florence. I want to use this time to raise awareness of the needs of the Florence Lauderdale Animal Services and the animals in their care in hopes of obtaining assistance with our current crisis, which is the need for a van for transports. Without rescue and transport, the negative impact on our precious animals would be too much to imagine, too much for many of us to bear. Transport is not new, it's been going on for years. Why is it suddenly an issue for the shelter to use the vans for the needs of the animals? An animal shelter is more than a building to house stray animals. It's more than animal control. These are people that love animals. You can't do that if you don't. You cannot go and see what they deal with every single day. We need the community, businesses, city and county leaders to support the life-saving efforts that go on every single day for one of the most vulnerable of our population, and that's innocent animals. God intended for us to care for animals. We are called to be responsible caretakers of animals. Deuteronomy 22:4 says, godly people care for their neighbors' animals. A stray dog is not a worthless soul. That could be someone's dearly loved pet that's been lost. It could be a precious soul that has escaped a horrible situation and is looking for help. I volunteer at the shelter. I have for about 4.5 years. I started after adopting just a beat-up old pit bull that has taught my husband and I more than you could even imagine. This dog is, he was pitiful, and because of Cheryl and who she is, he lives and breathes. Prior to that, there was so much that I did not know or realize. There are so many ways to volunteer. I started out doing laundry, then I was walking dogs. Well, then I started taking pictures and videos, and this led to me working with the Wisconsin-based rescue, My Paws and Me Pet Rescue. Prior to that, I had no idea that animals left our area to go to rescue. It's so amazing and such a blessing to have this resource for our precious fur babies, not to mention all the support they provide to the shelter. This particular rescue, nearly every trip sends back donations. They send back food, they send back blankets, towels, toys. They love our animals as we do. And they love our shelter because of what it stands for and because of what Cheryl Jones stands for. I've had people asking me, how does rescue work and why is it so important? Why do other areas of the United States not have as many animals available as we do? Why is it so critical that we can continue to transfer these babies to rescue? Why do we need a van? Most rescues are a nonprofit that have a mission to save the lives of innocent animals. They're animal advocates, the voice of those without a voice. Many areas have very strict laws, which we need. There are amazing dogs available at Florence Lauderdale Animal Services, but they just sit there. Can you imagine how boring and disheartening it is to be in a small kennel day in and day out? People just walk by you, but no one takes you home with them. Without rescue, many dogs would have to be euthanized here for space. For space, these are perfect, sweet, loving dogs. Here's some numbers just for the past 2 years. In 2023, My Paw and Me pulled 522 dogs. In 2024, My Paw and Me pulled 315 dogs. That's 867 dogs. That means in a 2-year period, they helped Florence Lauderdale Animal Services save 1,674 dogs. How do I get that number? Every dog that leaves makes a space for another dog. These numbers don't include any of the other rescues that save lives in collaboration with the shelter. There's Luna Farms, Paws 52, Dogs in Danger, Wags and Walks, Bama Bullies. I know that Brown Dog Coalition works with the Colbert Shelter. Rescues out of New Jersey do. What would happen if all those dogs did not leave for rescue? Most would have been euthanized. There are dogs. Okay. They've been euthanized, and I'm not okay with that. So many dogs are living and breathing today, are happy and healthy in loving homes because of rescue. The rescues trying to pull dogs off of the euthanasia list. Our shelter does have a low kill status, and because they stay under 10%. And the only way they maintain that is with rescue. How does a dog get picked? Do they only pick the cute fluffies? No. They take the senior dogs, the puppies, the bonded pairs that are impossible to get out. They take the pit bulls, the labs, they take the dogs with one eye, with 3 legs, the dogs with the wheelchair, whatever, the plain brown dogs, the black dogs that seem to not be able to get out. We post these dogs here locally, we beg people, and these dogs still sit here. So, and we need our community support, we need fosters, we need adopters, we need people to come support the shelter. We need help to be able to transport. The cost to rent a van for a transport would be probably about $900, $700 to $900. We will quickly, run out of funds. We just can't do that. Thank you.
I'm Debbie Rapoon. I live in Florence on Knightsbridge Road. I've been doing this work probably longer than anybody, shows my age, for about 17 years. I know Andy from years and years and years and years ago. I hate to break this to all of you, but the bottom line is he doesn't care about animals at all. I know this. From years ago when he was on the city council, I was fighting the city council, I was fighting the county commission, spent so much of my time. I should have been saving animals, wasting it on fighting. And he didn't care then, he doesn't care now. So bottom line, people, you don't even need to try to get him to change his mind. He doesn't care. So we need to do something to make him care or get him out. I mean, I'm tired after 17 years of fighting this battle. I just wanted to say that I saw a comment on one of these posts for animals, that people that are in favor of helping the animals. And when I read it, I just kind of took back, and I'm going to read it because I want to get it word for word. It was a post that somebody posted anonymously, okay? Everybody else posted, but they posted anonymously. At the end of the day, either adopt them or put your money where your mouth is. Just because your heart is bleeding doesn't mean Andy or mine is, and put them down. You don't want them, I don't want them, and they can't take care of them. It's tough to not be human. Okay, now that, I looked at that and I'm like, oh God, that's Andy. I mean, I'm not saying he wrote it, but in my head, I'm thinking that sums it up right there for him. Now I'd like to talk about the numbers, because I went back further than that when I was volunteering at the shelter. And from 1993 to 2003, as Monica said, 38,361 were put to sleep. 38,361. 2010 to 2014, 8258. 2015, just that 1 year, which that was about when I was going to leave, 636. Okay. When I started HAZRA at the shelter, I was just a volunteer. I created HAZRA. We worked our butts off. We cleaned the place. We took care of the animals. We made a puppy room. We made a cat room. I started a foster program, which there was none. I started a rescue program, partners. I started that. We started and we got these numbers way down to this. And that's amazing, because it is 15% and no kill, because some of them mainly because their spine's broke or they're coming in and they're hit by a car. They have to be put to sleep humanely. But going back on this, they had painted murderers on the shelter, red paint murderers. People were writing the papers telling them how much they hated it. It was horrible, it was horrible, it was horrible. We got it to this, okay? Andy wants to go backwards, way backwards. I hope, and if you're bored up there, I understand, but I hope that y'all are listening to this, because I get the feeling that some of y'all don't care. And I know some of these were on there when I was down there doing this too, these two. I don't understand, and if any of you, especially you, Andy, can explain to me how you can't have a heart, how you can't have sympathy, empathy.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Why? What reason could you possibly give to take a transport van away? We have so many animals that get to live in loving homes across the nation because of this. And for you to want to take that away and say you don't want to euthanize more animals, you are. You are. That's what happens. And if you can't figure that out, please leave. I'm tired of working against people like you. And I don't need this, and I can't even believe any of y'all up there don't have a heart, a soul. Do you? I know he does not. I know this. So please take into consideration and give them the van. Friends of the fight, give them the van. And let them do their job, saving these animals. That's what we were put on earth for. I know that for a fact. After my children grew up, I was made to do this work.
Your time.
So were they.
Anyone else to my right? We've got someone already at the podium. We'll get you next.
Hey, my name is Isabella Rowland. I'm at 203 Norwood Boulevard in Florence. I have personally had to call animal control, and it's a lot more than you would think. They have a lot of jobs that they do besides the rescue. It directly impacts everyone's life. Anytime that you see a dog walking down the road, somebody has to go take care of that. So, you know, when you think about what they see on a daily basis, like, it is extremely mentally taxing, physically taxing, and many of them are just volunteering their time. And, you know, it is frustrating to do a job that you don't have the resources for. I'm very nervous, so sorry about that, but it's hard when you're trying to accomplish something that you don't have the tools to do. And you can clearly see the frustration because they don't have the tools they need. So they really just need a van. Like, it's not anything more than that. Like, it's not deep, it's not personal, they just need the van. We need to figure out a way to make the money work. I know that it seems like you guys have a lot of like contracts that we've outsourced for other things, and so we're basically asking to be able to outsource being able to get these animals to a safe home. We take in more than we can take care of. So unfortunately, the like attitude towards animals in our area is just very much like someone said earlier, like they just treat them like a yard ornament or something that's just like, you get a puppy for Christmas and you get sick of it 3 years later. Those are the people who wind up having to take care of the puppy that's now a dog that nobody wants. I think that the van is a small issue that we can all solve together. I think that this is something that doesn't need to divide us. I've seen a lot of positive press for this Florence City shelter. Like, I've seen them in the news for really good things. I've seen them have like 5Ks that people came from different states to come to our local parks and rec and run for making money for the dogs. So, I mean, you just have to think about the impact of like, if we can give them the tools and resources to do their job, then they will go back to doing their job. They're not difficult people. They're all really sweet people. And if you get a chance to foster and you're here and you've thought about fostering, I would definitely recommend it. It's something that will open your heart. And I just want to ask that we basically acknowledge that when you take away the tool to do a job, you have basically made someone not able to do something that they were doing before. So whether you call it, I haven't changed the rule, or I have, you've still taken that away from them. So we have to acknowledge that, and we have to say, like, how can we give them the resources that they need to do their job? Thank you.
Anyone else to my right?
I'm Carol Cummins. I'm from Franklin County. And you asked me why I'm from Franklin County. I foster. And I also volunteer my services at the animal shelter. These people in Lauderdale County are very lucky to have what they have. If you know anything about Russellville, we have nothing like Lauderdale County has. in Russellville. We're not here to discuss Russellville, but I am just comparing your town, your city, your county to mine. We have no shelter. The dogs that are picked up are put in a holding place until 7 days. If they're not claimed in 7 days, they're carried to another county and they are euthanized. They are actually put in a chicken, they have a contract with a chicken grower and they put them in the incinerator. That's what they do. And that is probably what's gonna happen to your county if you put yours down. I foster, I go to the shelter when I can. I live in Russellville and it's pretty far, but I love doing it up there. Do you know what it's like to do laundry and have to scrape poop off of the blankets before you put them in the washer? You do. Because these dogs are not getting out of their crates in the hallway. It's just, I encourage everybody to take a walk down through there. See these dogs in these crates down there. I would take every one of them home with me if I could. They each have a story to tell. They have souls. And when they are sent, do you know what it's like to get an update on the dog that you fostered? And he's running down, there's a foster that I foster, they take them off into the mountains, they mountain climb. These people are I just cannot understand the love these people have for animals up here in Massachusetts, New Jersey, whatever. And in Franklin County, they run around. Puppies I've got 3 puppies in my garage that I'm fostering, and unfortunately they're in quarantine. But they will be going to a good home. They're fed. They know where their next meal's coming from. They're warm. And I love them. And I love what I do. And I love going to the shelter. Cheryl gives me respect when I'm there. If I ask her a question, she's happy to oblige. But I do encourage everybody in this room to get involved. Take you a walk to the shelter. It'll open your eyes. But I just want to say, I wish that the rescue would continue. Because you're gonna need more room for all these dogs that are coming in. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Paige Cloud. I actually live in Killen, Alabama. The mayor started, when he spoke, his statement made me think about something, and I appreciate you so much, Mayor, for actually bringing this up, because we're all adults here. So let's be as transparent as we possibly can be. There was no salacious attacks on the mayor. There was an action that the mayor carried out, an unexpected action by removing our shelter director at the time that our shelter was already overrun, and now we had 90+ dogs from a confiscation case. That was the opportune time to remove Cheryl Jones. Now, I know all of you know Cheryl Jones. A lot of these people sitting in here don't know Cheryl Jones. What a pillar of our society. What a face for this city and this county. To have her removed instead of championed for all that she has done is disgusting. And we all have a reaction. Now my name, Paige Cloud, was all over those Facebook pages. Yes, ma'am, it sure was. And I'm proud to say for every single thing. I didn't call anybody any names, but I was attacked. These people right here were attacked. We were also attacked when we talk about families. On the 6th of February at 10:31 at night came a very nasty, and I'm going to make sure tomorrow that you all are provided emails with timestamp copies from a Allison overall co-esters, I believe it's the mayor's stepdaughter, who encouraged people in the community on an open media platform to contact her to get the real truth. At what point, she states, when people are fired for breaking the law. Furthermore, as you know, it's social media, who's not gonna jump on that at 10:30 at night? As people jumped all over this, she even went to say it's on public record. That's where you're gonna be able to find this at. She then also claimed that she was a city employee. I'm a little shocked right now. I'm a little shocked how that type of behavior has opened up this city for lawsuits. Since when do we talk about city employees and infractions and breaking of the rules? I mean, this woman literally said when someone breaks a rule and gets fired, she was referring to Cheryl Jones. Cheryl Jones happens to still be working for the county and the city, thank God. But here's one example, just one example. So when we sit back here and we look at all of this, yes, nobody's personally attacking Mayor Betterton, sir, I don't even know you. And as someone said, I don't want to know you. I am a business owner, I am a mother, and I work every single day. I have 2 families that I take care of, and because we've got snow coming in, guess who was buying alfalfa and feed for all of their animals because they don't have it? I was. I am tired. I hear what Debbie's saying. I am tired. It is hard enough for us to fight the ones in this community who neglect, abandon, abuse, and now we get to fight the mayor. There was no reason to take this away. It's been working. Why? Why now? It's not like anything led up to this. It just happened. One day she's there, the next you know, she's gone. And we've got all of these cases, all these abuse cases. I mean, isn't that what she's hired to do? I'm just really confused of what's happening right now. So we're gonna step backwards. Now we don't have a van. The rescues are bringing money into the city. 600 pounds of dog food? You know how much that costs? Medical supplies, toys. They take the ones that are heartworm positive, the ones that need their eyes removed.
You have 1 minute remaining.
But we're gonna cut them off, because what we want is, and what happens, I'm a licensed vet tech, 32 years. 32 years I've been in some form of rescue, a licensed veterinarian technician. Those animals are gonna leave that shelter in a black garbage bag. I don't know if you all are prepared to do it, but I do know one thing. We shouldn't be here tonight. It's gonna be really cold. We have veterans sleeping outside. But we're here tonight arguing about something that someone's doing for us for free. All we have to do is get the animals there. You know, I'll leave with this. You have to be careful, Mayor, what you say. Doesn't matter, we all have families. When you say it and you put it out in public, it's gonna come back, sir. And it's not gonna be probably what you like. We all have the ability to speak, and we're speaking about these animals in this county. Thank you so much.
I know it's pitiful, so. My name is Melanie Orseski. I live in Muscle Shoals, and the reason I'm here is because I volunteered for the old shelter and the new shelter. I work with the new shelter doing several things behind the scenes that none of you know. I do want to know why a policy that did not exist in any paperwork anywhere in city policy was suddenly developed by Mayor Betterton. This policy did not exist. It was something that Mayor Betterton put in and made a policy about the van that was taken away for transportation. It's a city van, it's a city facility, it's doing city business. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I've seen a lot of the ugly things. I wrote, actually myself, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. I wrote that and I own up to that. And I say that to this day, Mayor, because I think that you have a problem with Cheryl Jones, not just with the shelter, okay? Cheryl was let go suddenly. She was shocked. We were all shocked. There were all of these animals that needed spearheading, okay? And there was one other person who was capable of doing some of the things that Cheryl does. The rescue organizations need help. They can't just send down vans. We need a van. You have all this money going all over the city. You don't have one van that's specifically geared towards the shelter. That makes absolutely no sense. I'm going to stop, and the only thing I'm going to say is, Mayor Betterton, it's time for you to retire.
Hi, thank you all for this opportunity. We do appreciate being able to be heard. Mayor Betterton, I'm sorry, my name is Kyra Britton. I live in Franklin County. Mayor Betterton, I don't know you. I don't know your politics. Obviously, by my accent, I'm not from here. But I do live here now. And I did adopt a dog from the Florence Lauderdale shelter when we first moved here. I also foster dogs for this community, as well as Franklin County. I'm up to 95 dogs as of August of 2024. Every single one of those dogs, with the exception of the 3 that I currently am fostering, have left for rescue, and I do get frequent updates on how they are thriving. I have questions for the council, if I may, and for you, Mayor Betterton. My first one is, do any of you own pets yourselves? Because I know this is very emotional for those of us that do, and not everybody has to love dogs or cats or animals for that matter. It's not required. But what is required is that we are compassionate, humane human beings. That is required. And Mayor Betterton, I will apologize for anyone who is out of line to you on social media. I don't know of it, but I will apologize because that isn't right. But what they have to stand up for needs to be heard, okay? The other question that I have is, have any of you volunteered at the shelter? Have any of you been there for more than an hour? Have any of you watched the people come in and surrender their 13-year-old dog that hasn't known anything but their love and care? Have any of you seen the puppies that come in sick and dying before your very eyes? It's very difficult. But aside from those emotional issues that some of you may or may not care, as you've been accused, how about dollars and cents, okay? I hear that you really love your sports and your sports facilities and you're willing to put a lot of money in for that. So how about I give you an opportunity to save some money? With the cost of euthanizing a dog being approximately $200 and the cost of sending 20 animals to rescue on a van, $2,000 to euthanize the 20 animals that could go to rescue on that van for $100 worth of gas. That is $1,900 that y'all get to save to put somewhere else, okay? It is an emotional issue, but it doesn't have to be. There are ways that we can all work together in this, and we have many suggestions if any of you, including the mayor, would like to sit down for a civilized conversation and discuss those. We have plenty. Please let me know. Also, I wanted to end this with, we began this meeting with an invocation, so I'm going to assume that everyone who participated believes in God in this room. So let me give you his word on this matter. A righteous man has regard for the life of his animal, but even the compassion of the wicked is cruel. Proverbs 12:10. Thank you for your time.
County, Gilbert, Florence, Alabama. I have several issues that I would like to discuss. First of all, I would like to take the opportunity because the mayor failed to do so on the meeting of February 11th in recognizing that the city of Florence was going to recognize that February would be Black History Month. He had no regard or any respect for our trailblazer, our first female African-American president, Katrina Simmons. He did not ask her to come down to the podium, give the proclamation to her, and have a photo op just as you did with the students. So you owe her an apology for doing that because she is a trailblazer in this city. There is diversity in this city, and she is sitting right there. There is a new day in Florence. It's coming. Second of all, I was in here, Blake Edwards, if you recall, on February the 11th, and I have the study, Mr. Jimmy Oliver, that when you all decided to vote for $234,900 to be allocated to a civil group to dismantle Pine Street to a 3-lane, and then they spent $60,000 to get the study done. So you all approved, what was it, $2,900? Let me get my numbers here. $294,900. I can't even, my budget doesn't go up that high, to dismantle Pine Street for the safety of the students. And Mayor Betterton, in politics, you gotta get some tough skin or go home. Because let me share with you, Jimmy Oliver, when you said, and you said this too, Mayor, when I read on social media that someone said something, well, lo and behold, you took to your social media platform on February the 11th, and you called out 4 citizens that was sitting in here about how we were outraged that you were going to dismantle Pine Street for the safety of one student. So, and I want to just paraphrase, it goes, UNA, which Blake Edwards, if you recall, after the meeting, I asked you when we were going to stop giving UNA Dynasty the money that they wanted for whatever they want. And you said to me, well, I don't know. And then Michelle Eubanks, God love her and bless her heart, she is not here tonight because after the meeting, I said to Michelle, after I spoke with you, Mr. Oliver, about the animal shelter, that we spent $3 million because I asked Dick Jordan about it, and I said 2, and he goes, no, we spent 3 on that. Okay, we have spent $3 million. We need our city council to pay attention to what is going on at the animal shelter. Clearly, we need a van to transport these animals. We don't need people from Wisconsin having to load a van up and coming to get animals in Alabama. The only thing that we have got going for us is football. But let me roll Tide. And you said, you know, it is, and you know what you wrote, but I'll paraphrase. UNA does not own the street, the city does. The city is liable for the safety on Pine Street. It's not a handout, blah, blah, blah. And also, I explained last night, I've never seen 4 people so upset over a council trying to save the lives that I witnessed last night. There's a whole room of us that is trying to save some animals, and we all need you to get on board and get a budget approved where we can have vans to transport these animals. In closing, guess what? You all work for us, the taxpayers, on this side of the room, that side of the room, and that side of the room. And if you all don't get your stuff together, then, you know, you can go back to where you came from, because we're going to have different people up here taking care of animals that don't have a voice. And you can quote me on that, Jimmy Oliver.
Your time is up.
before we get ready to close it down?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to address Mr. White. I don't know you either, and frankly, I'm proud of it.
That side of the room's already spoken.
Yeah, that side's already spoken.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
Please, let's get order.
Mr. Carson,
She's up at the
you've spoken
podium.
twice.
She came up on her own, you didn't recognize her, that's a violation.
My name is
of
Sandra
rules.
Betterton. I live on Bainbridge Road. What am I
Did
violating?
you recognize her when she came up?
Miss Betterton, you may speak. Y'all, let's
Thank you,
not
Miss
do
Evans.
this.
Well, let's do it, let's do it, let's.
I have now
do it.
just recognized her.
Oh, you didn't recognize her before?
Well, she
came
got
to
up
the podium?
before I had an
She did,
opportunity.
so
Well,
she's
I'm
out of
recognizing her
order.
now.
May I speak now, Mr. White?
Miss Betterton.
Don't ask me,
Miss
I'm not an
Betterton,
elected
go
official.
ahead. Do not, hold on, Councilman. Please.
Frankly, I'd like to say, on behalf of my husband, who didn't want me to say this, I am fed up with the garbage, the crap, don't interrupt me, please, that has been posted anonymously, I might add, on social media. Not pulling my husband down, but trying to bring his whole family with him. Frankly, if you'll pardon me, I'm pissed off, okay?
Miss Betterton,
First lady.
I'm sorry.
watch your language, please.
I'm sorry.
Please,
Rule
thank
number
you.
2 violated.
I just corrected it.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Miss Betterton, please.
My husband and I both love animals. And he will tell you, he has never said he wanted to have animals euthanized. We have a dog, a very nice, sweet little dog, even if she is a pit bull.
Yeah.
And I'd like to thank the person who suggested I don't kick my dog when I'm taking care of her. Her name is not Ruby. You know who you are. As for Cheryl Jones, she was not removed from her job. She was put on leave. She is now back on her job because the mayor thinks she's an excellent employee, that she does an excellent job at the animal shelter. And I happen to think so too. And one of you had the nerve to say there were no salacious remarks made about Mayor Betterton. I beg to differ with you on so many counts, I can't even think how many. And not, like I said, not just him, but his family. And I'm sorry for being so upset, but I am angry. And I do hope you get what you need at the shelter. I really do. I think those animals should be cared for and put in rescue. It seems to me that it would be to your benefit to sit down with the mayor and talk about the issues, rather than,
with anyone.
have you asked him?
Yes.
Miss Betterton, please.
Then maybe I
Not
should.
engage with the conversations.
I'm sorry, Miss Simmons, I'm just angry.
I understand, but still, let's stay in order. And I do ask that the crowd do not address Miss Betterton while she's up speaking, please.
Thank you.
And it would be not just her, it would be anyone who's up there. Don't have the dialogue back and forth. Let's please, I asked you all at the beginning, let's keep this meeting civilized and in order. I'm not being mean, but we have got to stop this. We're all citizens of Florence. We all love Florence. We love animals, because I got a beautiful fur baby. But let's stay in order and respectful towards everyone, okay?
Two more points I'd like to make. Keep in mind that when you try to destroy someone's character, you cannot avoid bringing your own character down. Also, I would like to say you cannot drag someone through the mud without getting mud on yourself. Keep that in mind.
We have no more comments at this time. We're gonna go ahead and go with our council member reports. Oh, okay, okay, come on.
My name is April Folden, and
I'm sorry, just tell it again now that you're at the podium.
I'm April Folden. I've taught many of your children in Florence City for about 25 years, run community service programs to benefit the shelter, PAWS, Hazra, I think, but in foster and rescuing dogs. But I came tonight to find out what was going on because, you know, I scrolled down Facebook and found this controversy, this conflict, and I thought, I need to go educate myself. Did not plan on speaking, but here I am. I live across the highway from the puppy mill with the 82 dogs. Cheryl, the animal control director, was incredibly caring, answered all my questions, worked to stop the cruelty in Central. And slowly you're seeing pictures of these dogs on social media and how bad it was. It's gonna get cold tonight, but those dogs in cold weather and in 103-degree weather had very little shelter, no air, no heat. Some of them lived in a former condemned meth house. So if you're adopting dogs from those people, and it's not just her, but the landowner who is culpable, he was there, I saw him. Let me get back to this. But Cheryl stopped the pitiful and continuous barking, the whimpering from sick, unloved animals exposed to extreme temperatures, some living in these conditions. She should be commended, along with her staff and the volunteers from Hazra and PAWS. I asked the Florence City Council and Lauderdale County Commission work together to assist in getting animals to rescues. Also, there's another puppy mill in Central off of Highway 200. I hear there's another one elsewhere in the county. These puppy mill owners do not pay taxes on the animals they sell for $400, $800. Animals that have never been to a vet, and they will lie on social media or on these websites saying that they've been vetted. You can see the parents of the puppies. No, you cannot. If you went to that puppy mill, as some of my neighbors did, just to try to spy, so we would know what was going on, they would not let you see any of the animal parents. These animals were barely cared for, food and water, no socialization, no medical care, no shelter. Often they sold sick animals who died after being adopted. When puppy mills are busted, yeah, it puts a strain on the resources of the animal shelter, and I'm asking you to work together to rectify this situation. Help these wonderful people who work to save animals, help them to find safe, loving homes. I thought maybe you can require a business license of animal breeders. Maybe limit the number of dogs that are bred to FOC. And I think any responsible breeder would welcome this. Responsible breeders should be commended, but we need to step in and stop these puppy mills. I ask that everyone work together, community members, officials, on the issue of helping animals find safe homes and stopping animal cruelty. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, everybody. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and start with our council member reports, starting with Councilmember Edwards.
I have no report.
Councilmember Oliver.
All right. Wow, I don't know where to start. There's a lot to unpack there. I don't think you'll find anyone on this council or in city government that doesn't believe Cheryl Jones has done an outstanding job out there. I think we all know that. A couple of things, if I made so many notes here, I'm not even gonna have time to go through them. We, as the majority of you know, and I know Ms. King, we've had many conversations, we have nothing to do with hiring employees, firing employees, discipline of employees. We have nothing to do with that. So when any of that goes on, we know very little about any of the circumstances around any of that. So I say that to say this, just from where I sit looking in, I got a really, to me it was kind of funny. I got a call from a lady, I know Miss Rappoon and a couple of others questioned whether we're animal lovers or not up here. I got a call, same type question to me early one morning, right after all this happened. Still laying in bed because I had a long night before, and I've got a 60-pound Irish doodle laying on top of me, a Boston Terrier between my feet, and a ragdoll cat above my shoulder. And this lady wanted to know, do you love animals? So apparently I do. I've got 3 laying all over me, so I'm an animal lover too. And I don't even like to think of animals being put down. So that brings me to this. What is the solution to this? We're elected to look after city money and take care of your tax dollars and do the best we can with it, regardless of what Mr. White, his accusations would say otherwise. But, so it got me to thinking, well, how do we handle this? A city vehicle cannot be driven by just anyone. It can't happen. I don't care if it's across the river or to Wisconsin. It just cannot happen. But is there a way that we can sit down and figure out how we can transport animals with a designated driver that goes through a background check and is approved by the city? To me, that sounds like maybe something that we've got to look into. In defense of our mayor, he and I we've worked together now for 5 years, coming up on 5 years, and we've had our share of disagreements. But in defense of him, I have never heard him say anything remotely close to that he wants to kill animals and he doesn't want to transport animals. He's never said that. Ms. Rappoon, I know you're laughing, but I'm telling you, I'm trying to be sincere here and work out you don't know, you talk. It's my time to talk. But I think we need to sit down, get a group of people together, volunteers who are there and people involved in this and some of us, and figure out what we can do going forward. So I will say this also, it's called the Florence Lauderdale Animal Shelter. I challenge you folks to go to the county commission meeting. All right, you've got your shots at us tonight, okay? I encourage you to go to the county commission meetings and express your concerns and your wishes with them as well, because we work together on things that have our names where we share ownership, and we share ownership here. So they need to hear this just like we do. And I certainly appreciate you coming here and saying what you needed to say. I do challenge people as far as social media goes. It did get ugly and it got personal. And Ms. Betterton, I thought, was treated unfairly. I hated to see it go to that level, but I know when you're passionate about something, yeah, you know, it boils over, and I get that. I do. So I say going forward, let's try to work together and figure out how we can solve this issue and make it work for everybody. Okay? Thank you.
Councilman Hendricks.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone that's here tonight, whether you came on this issue or another issue, or what side of the issues you were on. I'm just glad that folks are here expressing their right to do so. I have 2 fur babies at home. They both came from the Florence Animal Shelter. Our last came from the Colbert County Animal Shelter after we had them rescue her from a ditch. The house I bought came with a cat and kittens. So my wife will watch a movie. She's okay if they shoot the bad guys, but don't shoot his horse, okay? So that's our household, just so you understand. But I would like to ask a show of hands of volunteers out there. Because the one thing that I know is that place is overwhelming. And it cannot be run without the volunteers. I had several volunteers call me. I had several volunteers say they were done, and I begged them not to be done, that because we have to put the animals first. And I know it was an emotional statement, but I want to take you through a couple of things of my involvement since I've been on the council, and I've had everyone's support with this, including our mayor. First thing Cheryl told me when I got on this council was that she needed a clinic. If we could just spay and neuter and do vaccinations out there, it would be. So the mayor and I talked, and we went out there and we met with Cheryl. And I approached home builders and asked them to take that on as a community project, and they didn't hesitate. And now they are finished, and it's done. We're waiting on medical equipment to come down from Hardin County. And Mississippi State, I think one of the ladies from Russellville was wearing her state outfit tonight, has promised her, someone to come over. I think it's good resume work for them. This is very, very important that we do these things, but I want you to know that the mayor has been by my side with all of this, and he has made this statement to me: we can never lose control of that animal shelter because it'll get turned into a kill shelter, and we just cannot allow that to happen. He has made that statement to me, and I want to share that with you. Last Tuesday night, we gave out the certificates for all the volunteers that put in that clinic. Cheryl went with us. She and I sat side by side. She could not have done a better job representing the city of Florence, thanking that group for what they did over there. And she and the mayor together gave out those certificates, and it was nothing but professional, being that both had had a difficult week, and they worked great together, and I'm sure they're going to continue to do so in the future. So I want to give you a little bit of hope with the things I've seen. During this construction, Bill, you went out there and shot a video and promoted it. And I appreciated Bill doing that. So what I heard first was we needed this clinic, and we're there. We're just waiting on a few things to happen so that she can get it active. But what I'm hearing now is about, as Jimmy O said, I just keep hearing about this van or more vans. And it seems like to me that, if I understand the policy, because the mayor did share the policy with us, and I do have to get a little more information from Billy on legal, that if we do have vans out there, and this is my commitment to you tonight, because these are the things that I'm going to look into and take as my next steps. If we have a van out there and employees can drive those vans, we need to make sure that that's happening. But we also have, I would think, a foundation. And if so, that foundation needs a van and the insurance so that volunteers that work with that foundation can legally make these trips. Again, I gotta find out the details on this, but that's my commitment as the next step for Cheryl to help her is with the van situation. So you got my word, you got your word. I can't speak for everyone else, but I know personally how we talk. Everyone supports the animal shelter, so I don't think we're gonna get any pushback there. And I don't think that I'll be doing those things alone. I've got 5 other council people. Again, I can't speak for them, but I know them and I feel like we'll be good there. I need to move on from this. I've got a few thank yous to do now. First, from our storms, last week we had a lot of power outages. I want to thank our electricity department for getting out and getting that done. Again, it was in the middle of the night. I was home, I was in my bed, somebody was climbing on a pole. I always appreciate when they do that. Another one that we had with First Baptist Church on Wood Avenue, we had an unknown gas leak. It was underground. They had to vacate their church for a couple of weeks. They were in the old library. They put a real good plan together, found that leak, and Sunday they were back in their church. So I really appreciate everyone at the gas department putting together a very good plan, finding the problem, and getting it fixed. And then the last thing I have tonight, Mr. President, is a reminder for the 100 block business owners. It's not exclusive to them. There's a meeting 8:30 Thursday morning at Yum. Chase from engineering will be there, Frank from parking will be there. The topics we will be discussing is the alleyway during the demolition of the parking deck, so that they know what's happening with that, and then also loading zone parking out front for some of their Uber drivers who are having difficulties finding parking. And so anyone that wishes to come to that meeting, I look forward to seeing them there Thursday morning at 8:30. Thank you.
Councilman Griffin?
Thank you, ma'am. My name is Bill Griffin. My phone number is 256-335-6575. If you need me, call me. I've spoken to a lot of you this past week, and I looked for a word to describe what has happened in the last week, and I didn't want it to sound negative, but the most positive word I could find was debacle.
Yes.
And so I have two questions I would like to have answered. Was this the first pet transfer out of our state? And if the answer is no, then why was this trip targeted? And I don't know the answer to that. But when y'all say y'all, and you point up here, we were not involved. Due to policy, the mayor handles employees. And so he announced to us that an employee was, and he told us who, was placed on paid leave. But we were not, and still have not been given the details, because that's not our part to know. We all wanted to know, I'm sure. But those of you who wrote my phone number down, you called me and told me. So I do know. Every week, I take my grandson to what we call the cat house. And it's not the real name. I walked in the other day and the mayor was in there, and he looked at me funny, and I said, "We're headed to the cat house. Do you want to go?" And he said, "No." And we go every week because my goal is to teach my grandchildren the love of animals. Because I love my wife, but never have I come home and she shook her tail the way my dog does. To express the love and the appreciation that I came home and took care of him. So there's just nothing like a pet. Actually, I'm supposed to drive to Hardin County and pick up that equipment. But the reason it hasn't happened yet is their director's daughter had a severe auto accident, and their director hadn't been back to work since the Shoals Builders Association finished the project. And so every week I check with Sharon. I said, "Can I go now? Because this is going to make such a positive impact." This was a debacle. But at no time should we become so mean, insensitive to each other. It just, that doesn't solve anything. And the shoe fits on me. If I can't take it, I need to get out of the ring. But please, let's not become the family members of those of us who've chosen to be leaders within the community. Because we do this without much pay and much thankfulness. When we do the right thing, nobody mentions it. But when we do the wrong thing, those are the days I wished we didn't have social media. So, if you're, this is an army of volunteers that make this happen. This is just a small portion. I thank you so much. And you do have a great leader.
Yes,
It
absolutely.
starts here with her heart. It's not because what they pay her. It's because she loves what she does. So let's get together and let's fix this. And if we can answer, was this the first transfer? And I went ahead and wrote no down because I know it wasn't. Why was this trip targeted? We don't need to buy a van. There are 2 vans there.
Yes.
What do we need to do to be able to continue doing what needed to be done for over a decade?
This is the mayor who's over the department.
Out of order, speaking back and forth.
When I get to speak, when you talk, I don't get to answer, and you can't answer for that. But I really hope that that's changed soon. And so soon to me would be in 2 weeks. That's what I think soon is. Thank y'all for coming, and it really is a privilege to serve this city and to teach my grandkids what a joy it is to love animals. I've been to Cobb County shelter. We have a Taj Mahal here, and I'm proud that the people sitting up here long before I ever got here raised their hands and voted to do that. Let's keep it that. And please don't quit because this was a debacle. Let's keep going. I probably don't do near as much as y'all, but I sure love doing what I do. And there is a volunteer meeting next, is it Friday or Thursday?
Thursday.
Next Thursday. I'm not hiding. I'm gonna be out of state that day. But I'm gonna get the notes to know what happened and how it can be instituted. Maybe some of y'all will call and invite the mayor to that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin. My comments are very brief. First of all, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you that have come tonight and that certainly have expressed your hearts and shared your thoughts with us. I want to say thank you to every volunteer that volunteered at the shelter and also throughout the city. Everyone's opinion, whether you agree or disagree, is always, to me, valued and appreciated. I've had many calls, emails, and messages, and I've listened to those, even though I perhaps could not answer all what you asked, but I did take the time to take your call, and I listened to you. The things that I could give you a solution to or had an answer to, I provided you with that. So just want to say thank you, but I truly believe that when one gets up and speak, and even if you disagree in a respectful manner. Our city of Florence, I love it. We are better than that. And I have the sweetest little baby, fur baby that walks the earth, and her name is Lena, and she's a little diva. So with that being closed, we're gonna have closing prayer by Mr. Councilman Edwards. Thank you all for coming. No, ma'am, we're done. We're done.
May I apologize to all the people that I interacted with that I shouldn't have, and to the council.
Thank you.
Let's pray. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we just again come to you tonight. Thank you for the many blessings you've given to us. Thank you for the city in which we live. And we pray, Father, that you give us wisdom of decisions that we make and make in the future. Just provide what's best for our citizens and just watch over us. Be with us in the storms tonight. We pray, Father, that you be safe and warm and just watch over us. These things I ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.